Origins of Chemistro. Calvin Carr, the brother to the original Chemistro, became the third and most well-known man to use the Chemistro identity. The third Chemistro was Calvin Carr, brother to Curtis Carr, the original Chemistro. When Calvin came out of prison, he visited his brother, a former convict as well. Let down and more angry than ever, Calvin planned to make a criminal reputation for himself. This while his brother Curtis was now a reformed criminal and was trying to better his life. Calvin however obtained the alchemy gun, taking it by force from his brother, and started out his criminal reputation. He then started his criminal reputation as Chemistro by taking out two of Luke Cage's friends, Luke Cage being the one who put Calvin's brother in prison. In a battle with Luke and Iron Fist, then known as the Heroes for Hire, Carr tried his best to beat the dynamic duo. His first fight against the two, however, did not turn out as he had hoped, and Calvin flees the scene when he saw the chance. This did however not stop Calvin from returning the favor, and almost beat Iron Fist and Luke Cage on another fight. In the end however, Calvin was brought to justice. But not for long, as it turned out. After severely injuring the Owl, the Hood began an organized Masters of Evil. Chemistro, now back on the streets again, was one of the first to join. Unfortunately for him, Chemistro was soon captured by the New Avengers along with several other villains and was sent to the Raft, a prison for superhumans. However, luck came for him when he and several others were swiftly rescued by the Hood, who violently broke into the Raft, killing several guards. Later, Chemistro along with the rest of the gang watched as Jigsaw and Hood tortured Tigra and threatened both her life and that of her parents in order to get her to reveal the location of the New Avengers. Tigra then told them that the team of renegade heroes were living in what appeared to be an abandoned building, but was in fact a two-story condo complex hidden by Doctor Strange's magic. She said that while the law prevented the mighty Avengers or herself from storming it, she was almost glad they would attack it since she was sure the New Avengers would beat them. Hood then rallied the gang to attack the New Avengers. After arriving on the location and using his mystical abilities to identify that Tigra had indeed told the truth, Hood was planning an attack when Spider-Man, vacating the building, identified him. Hood then told Chemistro to break a stained glass window which held the magical seal that protected the house. Chemistro did and the gang got the desired result. The heroes were suddenly revealed and Doctor Strange was actually severely injured. Jessica Jones's baby was taken away by Spidey before Chemistro entered the building, so he was not aware his actions were harming an infant. Chemistro demonstrated his newly found fighting skills while the gang took the upper hand. However, Zom, a powerful demon possessing Doctor Strange, sent a magical blast that incapacitated and nearly killed everyone. Wong healed everyone, but Ms. Marvel took everyone in the gang except Hood back to prison. Secret invasion. Chemistro would not remain in jail for long. During the Skrull invasion, much of the Raft's electronics were incapacitated and most of the superhumans and S.H.I.E.L.D. agents were out fighting the Skrulls. This gave Hood another opportunity to break his gang out. The gang then decided to protect Earth, and they joined in the final battle in Central Park against the Skrulls. Chemistro fought valiantly, and the humans won. Dark Reign. After Secret Invasion, Tony Stark lost his job as head of S.H.I.E.L.D. and America's superhuman forces. Norman Osborn got the job and everything changed. Osborn cut a deal with Hood that he would lend a blind eye to most of his gang's activities in exchange for a secret agreement between the two of them that the gang would do some of Osborn's dirty work. Osborn gave Hood a tip on the location of the New Avengers, and Hood quickly rallied the gang and led another assault, this time in an abandoned Hellfire Club building. Chemistro, of course, participated. While Osborn got what he wanted, distracting the New Avengers and putting them on the defense of the gang was unsuccessful in killing any of their foes. Hood then left the gang for a while with Madame Mask in an attempt to gain the position of Sorcerer Supreme. On this quest, he became depowered, though the gang did not know this. However, due to his extended and abrupt absence, Jonas Harrow was able to discover and examine tech taken from the New Avengers. The device turned out to be made for temporarily depowering and incapacitating certain supers whose DNA were programmed into the machine. The gang had also obtained DNA from the New Avengers, and upon discovering Hood's deal with Osborn, Harrow developed a plan to cut the same deal with Osborn while removing the middleman. In order to complete the plan, the gang turned to Chemistro. Chemistro stood in the middle of Times Square, destroying everything in sight. Both the New Avengers and Osborn's team arrived to stop him, but the renegade heroes got there first. The depowering device was then activated, and all of the Avengers passed out with the exception of Mockingbird, who escaped. At around this time Osborn's team arrived, and Jonas Harrow presented his proposal. Osborn agreed, secretly delighted since the supervillains now reported directly to him, increasing his power substantially. Osborn then attempted to arrest the heroes with the exception of Spider-Man, who he ordered his Spider-Man, really Venom, to eat. The Hood's gang stood by, none of them, including Chemistro, objecting. However, Mockingbird came by and rescued most of her team, with the exception of Luke Cage, who was forced to surrender himself after being severely shot. Cage nearly died from his wounds, which were a direct result of Chemistro. It seemed he had finally gotten his long-desired revenge. Harrow's position as head of the gang did not last long. Hood killed him and took back his place after telling the gang they needed him in order to keep themselves from being Osborn's workers. Chemistro, along with most of the others, decided to agree to Hood's return as group head. When some of the Masters of Evil joined the initiative under Hood's suggestion, they played the role of heroes, but also stole money and committed various crimes hidden from the law by Osborn. Chemistro did not participate. It is unknown if this was due to Hood's directive or Chemstro's choice. Heroic Age. After a failed attack by the Initiative and Hammer on Asgard, Norman Osborn lost his power and the deal was off. Hood was captured, and Chemistro was once again forced to become an outlaw. Shadowland. Chemistro appears as a member of Flashmob and they come after Victor Alvarez, who takes on the moniker of Power Man when a bounty is placed on him by the Hand. A member from the street gang, called the Rivals, informs Deadly Nightshade the whereabouts of Alvarez as he skirmishes with Luke Cage and Iron Fist on top of a rooftop building. Nightshade sends a text to the Flashmob members and they confront the trio. Chemistro freezes the air around Iron Fist and Luke Cage to trap them in some ice. Alvarez takes out Chemistro when he punches him into a wall before he can use his alchemy gun to finish off Iron Fist and Cage. Powers and abilities. Chemistro's power lies in his alchemy gun, which allow him to rearrange the properties of one material and turn it into something else. For instance, he can turn the ground into quicksand, a hallway into a sheet of ice. Calvin Carr obtained an alchemy gun, which could disintegrate almost anything into a gray paste. It needed battery power and a constant supply of chemicals, though one full pack will be enough to disintegrate entire buildings. The chemical is ineffective against adamantium, vibranium, and the metal alloy in Captain America's shield. The alchemy gun contains complex computer programming to develop the disintegrating paste, and does so automatically. As a result, a simple observation of the gun will not suffice in an attempt to replicate its power. A battle injury caused Carr to disintegrate his own leg, but he eventually obtained a high-tech prosthetic that worked like his own leg, but was stronger yet clumsier. Carr originally was rather inept in combat, but has since developed formidable fighting skills, as demonstrated in his battles with the New Avengers.